on YouTube.
All right.
All right, JC, let's do this right here. Let's go ahead and get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com.
Okay.
We're going to do our U.S.
All
Open
right.
picks. We're going to pick 4 golfers, JC.
I like it.
And then don't forget, folks, Kerwin Bell will be joining us at 8:30.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick first, because I always let you pick first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a guy who has not played great golf this year, but I love his game, and he is. You can book. He's going to be in the top 10 in the U.S. Open.
Book it.
I'm gonna take the X-Man, Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he? He's close, right? He's really close. Another guy who's really close, who's going to be my first pick, who hasn't been around nearly as long, but is making quite a splash, is Will Zalatoris. I just think the talent level that kid has, it's only a matter of time before he wins a big one. And a big one meaning a major. So give me Will Zalatoris.
All right, I'm going to go because this is not a very long golf course. It's a little over 7,000 yards.
Right.
Very, very small greens.
Yeah.
So if you hit it, and there's tons of undulation, but if you hit the greens, that means you have a legitimate putt at birdie.
All right.
And I'm going with the best putter on tour.
Yeah. Well,
my redneck, Cam Smith.
You've been with him, you know.
Well, I love his game.
Well, he would have been my next pick. So I am agreeing with all of that. Not that I would ever disagree with your picks, but I think that is a natural pick for something like this. And so I'm with you on that.
The only problem Cam has is sometimes his driver looks like our driver. He's all over the ballpark.
I mean, there's just so many. This is the greatest field, right? I mean, there's just so many great names to pick from. The U.S. Open is probably I don't know if it's my first or second favorite major. I know the Masters is there, but this one is, I mean, this is the U.S. Open. So to me, you really got to be accurate. You have to be accurate off the tee box. You have to know where the ball's going. I like Corey Connors from Canada. We don't talk a lot about him, but I like the steadiness of his game. This is the kind of tournament that you have to be patient. You know, if you're in the top 10 in the first 2 days, you make the cut and you're only 5 strokes or so back, you're right there in it. Corey Connors is a guy that nobody really talks about, but he's always sneaking up the leaderboard in these big events. If you look at his past, look at his records, and you'll see how good he plays in these big events. So I'm going with Corey Connors.
You're going north of the border with the Canadian. Okay, my third pick is going to be a kid who won the U.S. AM.
Okay.
There at the Country Club, Matthew Fitzpatrick, which I asked Buddy this yesterday, JC, for some reason I'm ignorant. But I said, how did Matthew Fitzpatrick win the U.S. Amateur? He's from England. And I didn't realize any amateur could play in it. Did you know that?
No. Really? Okay. Well,
because he's from England.
He's from England, but is he a United States citizen? Maybe? No.
I don't know, but I mean, when you're the U.S. AM, I thought only amateurs from the U.S. could play in it.
Yeah, well, that just shows we don't know that. All right, I'm going to take a local favorite who's won big this year already. I think his game has been very good this year. If you look at all of the tournaments that Billy Horschel has played this year, just look at his record for this year, coming off that big win at the Memorial. I think my man's got the game to stay close in this event, and I'm going to take him. I mean, I think if you can win at Muirfield, you're playing great golf, and right now that's what's required. So give me Billy Horschel, Florida Gator.
Yeah, Billy's playing real well, and I think it's going to come down to ball striking this week, and obviously you got to make putts. You got to stay out of the rough.
That's right.
All right, my fourth and final pick is a guy that I just love his game. Another youngster. I picked him a couple of weeks, maybe it was last week. I'm going Sam Burns.
Oh, guys. Great, man. I mean, he doesn't sneak up on anybody. I mean, he's now he doesn't. I mean, he did when he won his first tournament down at Copperhead in Tampa. That was his first ever win. And also we go, who's this guy? And he's won a couple times since then. So that's a good pick. I like him. There's so many guys you can pick. It's really impossible just to take 4, but you hope to get lucky. So I'm going to take another foreign player. So that gives me 2 Americans and 2 foreign players. But this one is Hideki Matsuyama.
Oh.
And Hideki, to me, is the kind of guy that can keep the ball in the fairway. He's got power, but he can also really do well around the green. So I think he's a great player. Obviously, he's a great player. And,
JC, I'm impressed with your 4 picks because you didn't go any chalk.
No, not this time. Only because chalk is too easy, and even though it might be the right thing to do, like it was when I picked JT to win the PGA, this is different. This is, like you said, it's not a long course. Brookline is much different than what they played at Southern Hills. This is a much different layout. You got to have guys who will keep it in the fairway. The USGA sets up the rough purposely to penalize you dreadfully if you hit it sideways. Well, the 4 guys I picked are they're not the longest guys, even though Zalatoris can hit it far, but they're extremely accurate off the tee box. Matsuyama, Corey Connors will hit it straight. So that's why I went with them. We'll see. I like your Cam Smith pick, though. I mean, that guy, when he gets it rolling, I don't know if anybody is as good as he is around the greens, and certainly not with a putter. So
let's get to this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp, give them a call, 352-376-2366. In 1986, at the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills, Raymond Floyd wins his 4th and final major. 2 strokes ahead of Chip Beck and Lanny Watkins. And Ray Floyd's son, Robert Floyd, was a former Gator golfer on the golf team. So I think about Ray Floyd beating Lanny Watkins and Chip Beck.
Awesome, isn't it? Chip Beck was a Georgia Bulldog, the first that I remember coming from that school that played well on the tour. But Lanny Watkins, dude, that just brings it all back to you, doesn't it? I mean, I really liked Lanny Watkins when he was a CBS and color guy. I thought he was pretty good at that too. Yeah, man, that's I love that. That's great. Shinnecock Hills, baby. That's Long Island.
Yes, that's we got a Facebook Live here, JC. Let me find it. Brought to you by Meldon Law. John wants to know, will the other 4 schools joining the Big 12, which is UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, and who's the other one?
BYU.
He wants to know, will that speed up Texas and OU coming to the SEC?
You would think, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't you think that? And right now, that league is at 16 teams starting next year if Texas and OU don't leave. And right now, there's been no indication that anybody's writing a check for them to leave. And there's been no indication from the SEC that says they are ready for those schools to come. You know, we always talk about, well, what's OU and Texas going to do? I'm not sure these guys running the conference here are ready for Texas and OU because they can't even figure out how many scheduled games to play in the SEC. So, well, they have figured it out. It's not 9 like it should be. It has to be 9 once those schools come in, QB. So until you hear from us in this conference that they're ready to do 9 now, do not think Texas and Oklahoma are coming because you cannot play 8 games with 16 teams in your league. It doesn't make sense. You won't play half the conference. It'll be bogus. And so I just think that, I'm not sure the SEC is ready. That's truthfully what I think. Because remember, the SEC didn't poke Texas and Oklahoma. Texas called the SEC. And then Texas, once that call got through and they said, sure, come on board, said, we're going to bring OU with us. And then OU picked up the phone and said, okay, Texas, we'll go with you. We don't care about Oklahoma State. So off we go. But the SEC kind of was caught off guard, and I don't think they're ready for them. So that's why I don't think this is going to happen.
Speaking of Texas, I don't have the bracket in front of me because the baseball, the World Series is different than the women's because they don't flip sides, correct? They stay on their side.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you're right.
The reason I ask is there a chance that Texas and Texas A&M could play for the national title?
We can only hope, right? I mean, we can only hope, and that would be tremendous. That would be tremendous theater. The 2 schools in that state that probably have more disgust for each other than I guess, Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, and Ohio State, Michigan. But Ohio State, Michigan are in different states. So I don't know. That's a great question, QB. I'm not sure how they do the winners and losers bracket. I just don't know that answer.
Yeah, I want to say they stay on the same side the whole time. They don't flip. So I haven't even seen the bracket. So
Okay.
JC, before we let you go, Joseph wants to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law.
Okay.
The big question for JC: how'd the Publix weight loss challenge work out?
Thank you for asking. Yes, got on that scale, hit 209. So I'm on my way to 200, baby. On my way to 200. When we started this trek, I was 215, 216-ish, something like that. I'm down to 209. By the end of this month, I hope to be at 205. And then by the end of July, under 200. That would be a very healthy summer for old JC. Thank you for asking, Joseph. I appreciate that. And I'm just trying to lose a little weight, man. I'm a chubby little guy. Well, not chubby. I'm not really chubby. I weigh too much. That's it. I don't have fat flying off me. I don't have fat flying off me. I'm compact, but I'm not flabby. I just got to lose some weight, dude. That's all there is to it. That's all there is. I drink grapefruit juice. That's good.
That's great. Probably got too much sugar in it for you. John says here on Facebook Live, before we let you go, because we got to get to Kerwin here in a minute.
Yeah.
If we do the 3 permanent games, who would we keep on the schedule? Tennessee has Alabama, Georgia, and Vandy. LSU has Alabama, Arkansas, and Ole Miss. Surely we keep Georgia, though. Yeah, you would definitely keep Georgia. And I don't know how they're going to do that. I haven't looked into it enough.
Who would you do? Who would you put as Florida's permanent? Just say you were the czar and you scheduled these. Who would you have? I know who
I would probably say it needs to be Georgia, Auburn, LSU would be my guess.
LSU. So you'd scratch Tennessee and Kentucky. I mean, they.
Oh shoot! No, let me back up.
Yeah,
Georgia, Tennessee, and either Auburn or LSU.
Right.
I could care less about Kentucky.
Right. Okay. So it has to be Tennessee and Georgia.
Yeah.
And then
Tennessee, Georgia, and then either Auburn or LSU.
I mean, might as well be LSU. Keep LSU. I mean, that or Auburn. I mean, I'm with you on the Auburn one. I mean, that school. Here's another geography thing for all of our great viewers and listeners. Auburn is the closest school to the University of Florida than any other in the SEC, including Georgia. So yeah, I agree. I think LSU or Auburn, but certainly Tennessee and Georgia. The QB, I don't know. I mean, they're going to figure it out. It shouldn't be this difficult. And I think maybe they already have. They just haven't announced what they're going to do or when they're going to do it. But you're right about the Big 12. It's about to be a 16-team league until Oklahoma and Texas leave. And I just think it's more on this end than it is on that end. I don't think they could have a problem writing those checks. I just don't think the league here is ready for them. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'd like somebody to tell me. Maybe you could get Edgar Thompson to tell us about that. Ask Kerwin also when you get him on here, because I love Kerwin, who his biggest rival is at Western Carolina. I want to know who the Catamounts really play.
I think well, they play in the SoCon, so they got like VMI, Sanford. But yeah, I'll ask him that.
Yeah.
He went out to OU last year and just got blasted.
I know, but that's a pay game. I mean, they need money. They got to get money.
I'm going to ask him how much money they made.
Yeah, and say, listen, is this NIL thing really going to hurt these schools in the FCS? I mean, what's going to happen, Kerwin? You got a lot to talk about with Kerwin.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was talking to a buddy of mine who covers college football religiously across the country yesterday, JC.
Uh-huh.
I thought I knew you know this probably, but he said that they all think that Alabama football team this year will be the best team Nick Saban's ever had.
Really? Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
The best ever? Mm-hmm. Well, listen, but I wouldn't.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I wouldn't be upset about it. They got to stay healthy, dude. It's all about that. You know how that is. Injuries really affect everything. But if they do, I'm not going to argue with them. I love hearing that. We'll see. The offensive line is the biggest question mark for Alabama, from what we've heard. The offensive line, but they got great recruits there and players. It could be good. Could be good. The conference could be really good. I think everybody's going to be improved this year. I think Tennessee and Kentucky are going to be better. Georgia's going to be Georgia. LSU's going to be better. Auburn should be better. Florida should be better. Arkansas will be hard. They're a hard-nosed football team. Great coach. Mississippi schools will be tough. Dude, it's going to be a great league, just like this College World Series. It's tremendous.
All right, so we're gonna go talk Catamount football. We'll talk to you on Friday. That's JC joining us on the Titan More Hotline. Take a quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by the head football coach of Western Carolina, Kerwin Bell.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Wiebe, a realtor with Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today, 352-562-1411, to help your dreams come true. We're now going to go to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by the head football coach, former Gator quarterback, Hall of Famer, Kerwin Bell. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. How y'all doing down there in Gainesville?
We're doing okay. I wanted to get you on because I got a lot of questions for you. First of all, we had a listener want to know, who is Western Carolina's main rival?
Well, the historic one, that's like the Florida State up here was the App State. The two mountain teams up here in North Carolina. App State against Western Carolina was a big rival for years. Then App State's moved on to FBS, so we've got now sort of a border war. They're trying to build up. East Tennessee State would probably be considered. We play them the last game of the year, and it's called the border war game. And but I tell you what, just being here 1 year, the one that really everybody gets fired up about is Furman. Furman, we hadn't had a lot of success here against Furman, and we beat them last year 43-42 in our stadium, and this place was packed and everybody was rocking. So they love to beat Furman. I think that's the big rival for us, is being able to go out and compete against those guys.
Kerwin, you went to OU last year. First of all, with the NIL now, and like the SEC, they're trying to do away with the cupcake type games, the payday games for programs like yourself in South Alabama and those type of schools. I'm a huge proponent of it because it gives those kids, because most of those kids that you have playing for you wanted to be SEC type players. They wanted to play in those big venues against the big boys. But it seems like they're trying to get rid of those games. Talk about how important it is for your program to survive on that game check, and how important it is for your players to be able to play in a game like that.
Yeah, I think, like you say, the number one thing is these programs, especially after COVID and all that, as far as our budgets, I mean, it would be a big hit. That one game brought in over $600,000, I think, for us. Then we went to Oklahoma. Yeah, we got wore out pretty good. It really was a bad time for us to play them because we were so unsure about what we were doing. Just got here, and I thought we played I think we played a little bit better later in the year when we really had got some confidence and really started winning some games and knew who we were a little bit better. But I look at it as this, like you said, it's a great opportunity for our kids. It's a great product for our university to be able to put it and go there and promote our university in on a bigger playing field and a bigger audience. And we didn't show as well as we wanted to, but I really believe it. Listen, I know they tried to get on me, or tried to get me to get on Lincoln a little bit about the score, and that's just not who I am, man. So why we got beat bad? It just showed us where our weaknesses were. It showed us where we had to get better, and that's what we did. We come back and we found out some areas that we need to improve in and get better at if we wanted to win football games. And so it's a great experience for us. I would love to keep those going and give our kids the opportunity to go challenge, guys on the biggest stage. I know I think in 2013, Western Carolina goes to Alabama and scores on the first series and ends up in that game, I think, into the second quarter. So, things like that give these guys opportunities to go play in those big opportunities.
John has a question here on Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law. He says, how many of those, quote, paycheck games would you want to play each season?
Well, like I told RAD, I'd rather play one big one, big SEC team or ACC team, get paid, and be able to cover our costs that we need to cover with one big one, then play two maybe smaller FBS programs that maybe pay. Some kids who maybe we would never have a chance to go get at this level. And so we said, hey, listen, I got a 5-year contract, so I'm going to build this thing the right way with some young kids, and that's why everybody goes to transfer portal. Listen, they got to win now. I understand that, but we're gonna take these talented kids that we feel like we were able to get because of the transfer portal, these high school kids, and we're going to build a program the right way and still, look in the transfer portal for O-line, D-line, which I think is a big difference, maybe from high school to be able to get a transfer kid is up front. So, we still continue to look there, but our athletes are all going to have come from high school. We've got over 20 guys, Shane, we brought in as freshmen from South Florida, rarely from the state of Florida. 15 or 18 of them are from South Florida. So we have really got, I think, some dynamic players, a couple from Clearwater, one from Jacksonville. Like I say, about 20 from South Florida, 18 or so from South Florida. So we're expecting, and we want to be the fastest team in America. That's what we always say. And we feel like we've got a lot of speed, a lot of athletic ability. We got to develop them. And that's going to be a big key here this first year is get them in our system, develop them, get them, right now we got 95 here in the summer. We got to gain, these guys got to gain weight. Some of them are a little small, so we got to put weight on them, but they can flat out play football. And so I'm excited to what we've got going on.
Hey, Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Kerwin Bell here, head coach of Western Carolina on the Titan Mar Hotline. Got a couple Facebook Lives for you, Coach. Andy says, Kerwin, congrats on your great playing and coaching careers. Is it true that you have the highest career passing rating of any quarterback in the National Football League history? That's a great stat to throw around. Tell us about that, Kerwin. You're like 3 for 3 in your career, right?
Nah, don't treat me that bad, Shane. I was 5 for 5 now. Come on. Give me a couple more passes. Yeah. That was one of the things when I speak somewhere, I say, hey, listen, y'all might not remember Kerwin Bell, but y'all can always go back and tell your family and friends that, hey, I heard the guy speak as the highest rated quarterback in NFL history, and you won't be lying. I have a chance to go in that one game, 5 for 5 for 75 yards and 1 touchdown pass, which is a perfect quarterback rating, 158.3, Shane. So nobody can beat me. I know I'm the best of all time, you know?
That's right. You're right up there with the great ones. There's no question about it. We also got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Mellon Law from Dan. He says, Kerwin, can you talk about that 1986 2-point conversion run you had to beat Auburn? I was there, and it's one of my favorite UF games ever.
Yeah, well, it was an unbelievable game. You know, I felt so unsure about myself because my knee was really not 100%, and I wasn't fast at all anyway before that injury, and I was definitely not fast during that time. I remember just during the game, real quick, you know, Coach Hall said he was going to let me dress in case it was an emergency. All of a sudden, we get into the first half, and, I mean, they're just killing us. I mean, Rodney Brewer's our quarterback, and, I mean, he was under a tremendous amount of pressure. I think we had 6 turnovers. They were killing him, and we just couldn't protect. And I remember Pepe Lescano. You know Pepe, Shane. Pepe come up to me and said, Kerwin, I think they're putting you in. I'm like, Pepe, I don't know if I want to go in or not. Just watching from the sideline, it looked rough out there. I mean, Auburn had, I think they're the number 2 team in the country at that time, and Andre Bruce and all them guys. And yeah, we went out there and able to go, you know, somehow find a way to get to 16-17. I think it was 17-16 when we scored on I threw a little fade route to Ricky Nattil. And I thought we was going to tie it. I didn't know. I wasn't thinking. But Coach Hall called timeout and said we're going for 2. And we had a little option route for Nattil in the end zone. They sort of bracketed him. And man, I had to do something with the ball. So I stepped up and they were just taking off running and got in the end zone. And it was that was my moment, really. You know, out of all these years, that's probably the time that I look back and say, man, it was great to be a Gator during that time.
Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. John asked, how does the Western Carolina job compare to a job like Valdosta State?
Well, we've got more resources. You know, we've got 63 scholarships. We're right now in the process. When I was hired here, I was promised by our chancellor, and they came through. It just happened. We've got committed $30 million, and they're going to try to get it to $60 million here in the next 3 years. So we can, in our 3rd year here, we'll be able to build a 2-story, all-inclusive, just football facility, which we think is going to be state-of-the-art, the best in our conference, probably one of the better ones in FCS. So there's a big commitment here, you know, with the new chancellor. She's in her second, or she's been here about 2 years. She's hired an AD who's only been here about a year and a half. So everything's new. Everybody's committed to winning championships here. This place has never won one. So I believe, I tell people all the time, it reminds me of Florida in the 1980s. Shane, we won it, you know, in '84. I always say we won it. We came back on the plane as SEC champions. And, you know, I remember leaving the airport and coming back on buses, and the stadium was half full. There was people in the streets dancing, and I seen 60-year-old men crying. And believe it or not, that's going to happen here. I mean, we're going to win a championship here, and we don't see guys crying. There's so many guys here that love the game of football. We're one of the most highly attended football games in FCS, and yet they've never won. So these people want to have a championship, and I think it's going to be great for our players and everybody here when we are able to do that.
We got a text on the Titan More text line from Roger. He says, Kerwin, you've been coaching a very long time. What coaches influenced your style the most?
Well, I think Galen was a great play caller, just watching how he set things up, and just his demeanor was really good for a football team. That's the way I try to, and I don't want to put a lot of pressure on guys. I want guys to be able to handle pregame. You know, sometimes we were told in certain situations where nobody could say a word. Well, I think that works good for some people. Some people, it makes people uptight. So we try to be real. We try to take the attitude, Shane, we're going to work harder than any other team in America, Tuesday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. And then that last 24 hours, we're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to go eat. We're going to fellowship. We're going to get to know each other because we are a confident football team that we're going to go take care of business when that ball kicks off on Saturday because of the work we put in that week, those 3 or 4 days before. So we're going to relax and go play our game and go be aggressive, and that's who we are. So, that's been big. Watching Don Shula, I was able to be drafted by him. A little bit some stuff that he did that was really great. But probably the most the two was as my philosophy was, Lindy Infante and Steve Spurrier by far. just the way he coached and the precision and almost perfection. That's what got me involved in coaching, Shane. I never even thought I wanted to be a coach. I went down there as a graduate assistant. You was starting in 1990, and I was 2 years out of college. Never thought about coaching, and I seen almost precision on the field, perfection on the field, and so that from Coach Spurrier was probably the biggest thing in my career that got me involved in coaching. And then there was a guy, Don Matthews, who won 10 Grey Cups in the Canadian Football League. Who I probably played my best football for as a player because he gave you so much confidence. And that's what I try to instill here. We have a saying, which was his saying, was live on the edge. And what that means is he wants to make sure as a coach, he lets you go live on the edge. Play as aggressive as you can play. Never feel like you got your heels in the ground. Always feel like you got your toes in the ground and you're leaning forward and you're ready to make plays. And we're going to call the game that way to help you go make plays. And so those kind of philosophies and those kind of guys have really influenced me a lot and big for me in my career.
Kerwin, we had a couple of texts here on the Titan Mart text line from multiple people. They want to know, how has NIL had any impact at your level, the FCS level yet?
No, we don't have as near as much, but we do have kids that, there's some guys have some little deals going on. The big thing for us is the portal. I mean, we've got a freshman All-American from Miami who, he's getting people outside and around his family and friends, that know a lot of other people in college football. And, everybody's like, you ought to get in the portal, but he's committed to us. And when nobody else wanted him because he's small, now he's growing and he caught 80 balls last year or something like that as a freshman. He's a dynamic player. So, he's committed to Cade, especially. Cade recruited him and has really done a good job with him. And I tell you, one thing that's really helping us, Shane, too, with these Florida kids. People say, why did you go, why didn't you? We recruited 6 North Carolina kids. And my whole area is from Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. That's sort of our areas. And we're going to continue to recruit those areas big time. But what happens, Shane, is people say, why did you just go get all these Florida guys? Well, we did such a good job, I think, in 16 when we recruited about 12 of them, 12 Florida kids when we were at Valdosta State. And in 2 years, we won the national championship. And a lot of those guys played as freshmen and sophomores on that national championship team. And we've taken care of them. And their coaches down there say, hey, if Coach Bell and them, I don't care if you had an FBS offer and you got dropped, don't wait around for an FBS offer. Go sign with Western Carolina and Coach Bell and them. So they've been great. The coaches down there believe in what we're doing. We just had Dillard High School come by the other day, and the coach said, I had to make sure I brought my team by here because if you recruit my kids, I want them to know what this campus looks like. So we're getting a lot of support down there, and they believe in what we're doing. And so that's been great for our program up here.
A couple more minutes here with Coach Bell. Tony says on Facebook Live, one of my favorite memories in games was when the Teal had one arm that game. I guess he's referring to the Auburn game. All right, last question for you, Coach Bell, before we let you go. It comes from Joseph on the Titan MR text line. He wants to know, Kerwin, do you know Billy Napier at all, and how do you think he's going to do for the Gators?
No, that's one guy I really hadn't had a chance to. I might have met him quickly when he's at Clemson, I remember, but maybe that was the only time, so never been around him. But I tell you, it seems like to me he's really organized. He's all about ball, which I love. I mean, I think if you're going to be great in this profession, you gotta love it. You gotta wake up every day. It can't be a job. It's got to be a passion for you. And I know he seems to have that, and very structured, very organized, and I think that's what it takes there at the university is being able to put together a program where you can go through some tough times if you have to, and be able to come out the other side better people and a better program. And I think he's got that capability to be able to do that and get through maybe a few tough stretches here or there. It's always going to be tough in that SEC. You're going to have some ups and downs. I tell a team all the time, Shane, you can be the most talented team in football and you can win a lot of great games. You've been a part of that, Shane, right? Where you had a talented team and you probably won games you probably shouldn't have won, some big games, but to win games and be a consistent program over the years and win championships, you flat show better have a great culture, and you flat show better have some great leadership and great unselfish players. And because a championship is so hard to win because it's over a season or it's over 2 seasons, being able to build that thing. So, and I think he's got that capability to do that there, and it's exciting to see that.
No doubt about it. All right, so your big payday game is what, at Georgia Tech this year?
Yeah, we go to Georgia Tech, which will be fun. We got Coach Collins on the sideline down there. So, we got them the second game of the year, and that's going to be a big one for us, and we're excited about it.
All right, we expect a lot of points this year, my man. Throw it around the ballpark. We appreciate your time, and we'll check in with you before the season kicks off. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, Shane. Appreciate it, bud. See you.
Yep, that's Kerwin Bell joining us on the Titan MRI hotline. I'll take a quick timeout, come back, and we'll wrap up this Wednesday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. Premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30 you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan Number Hotline, as well as Coach Kerwin Bell from the Western Carolina Catamounts, one of the best football coaches I've ever been around. Andy says, well, Shane, was Kerwin a mentor of yours in 1990? Yeah, Kerwin and I became really good friends. He was kind of that sounding board for me. My first year starting under Spurrier, his first year as a grad assistant. And from that point on, we formed a bond and have been really good friends. We've run quarterback camps together for like 15, 16 years. Guy knows football extremely well and has won at every level. So we appreciate him taking the time, joining our program on the Titan MR Hotline. Hope you guys enjoyed today's program. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tell all your friends and family to go like and follow our program on all the different platforms out there. We appreciate your participation. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.